Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Search for Awesome podcast. I am Titus.
And I'm Mikey.
This week we're talking about all of the announcements for WWDC, and we're also talking about some of the really crazy but really awesome news from Asus.
We're also going to be talking about some financial apps. I know that may be a little different from here somewhat, but we're going to be talking about Robinhood and Goodbudget.
Really excited to talk about those two apps because both of them are really cool. But before any of that, man, I got something I want to show you. You see this?
What's that?
You can't see the crack in it?
No. Oh.
I don't know.
Oh.
Isn't that sad?
You did a Mikey.
Well, fortunately, that's not the screen. That is a tempered glass screen protector. But it was still very upsetting. And guess how I did it?
How?
I didn't drop it. I didn't do anything irresponsible. I put it in my pocket.
Really?
With some keys in there. And I walked like 10 feet, and I sat down, and then when I pulled it out, it was 2 cracks in the screen. So my brand new OnePlus 6 is now tainted. I reached out to them, and I was like, guys, I don't think it being in my pocket with keys should have broke it, because I've used tempered glass screen protectors before, and this is the first I've ever seen this happen. Normally, it's like if it falls on like a corner or something, like something's got to hit it just right for it to shatter. But at first, they weren't going to replace it, which I was a little disappointed. But they were really nice, and they finally were like, "Okay, we'll replace it just this once." But don't be an idiot next time. I think was what they didn't say that, but that was.
I mean, I could see if you did like a drop test and threw it down and it broke, and you're like, "Hey, this broke right away. I want to replace it because I threw it."
Yeah,
I could see that.
I was just like, I don't think that it being in my pocket should be against the warranty, and I don't even think there is a warranty. But anyway, let's talk about WWDC. This is the Apple Developer Conference. Mikey, did you hear about this?
Somewhat. I started trying to look into it, and I got to tell you, I was a little disappointed. There was a lot of things that I was looking for that I did not see. And I think you're about to get into that.
That's interesting you should say that. I have a strong opinion about just that. But let's jump in. Okay, so a lot of people were expecting new hardware, which might be what you're talking about. We'll talk about that in a second, but there was not new hardware. So they had a ton of operating system announcements. In fact, it was enhancements to their phone, to their desktops, and to their watch, and to their TV platform. So let's start off with the phone. One thing they did that was really interesting is they are making all of their old phones faster. Well, really all their phones, but they're targeting their old phones. And for instance, they gave the 6 Plus as an example. They claimed that the camera could open up 70% faster, launching apps would be 40% faster, the keyboard would come up 50% faster. And I've been kind of critical of them in the past of trying to pressure you to buy new devices by slowing them down. It's really nice that they're using their software to make things better.
I mean, I see what you're saying, but I also look at it from the other side of that, That's great that they're wanting to do that now, but they were slowing down devices in the past. So they're not really doing a good thing here. They're making up for the crap they've done before.
Yeah, I wonder if this is a little bit of a response to that. But they had some other neat announcements. They talked about augmented reality with their phones. They gave some really impressive demos. One thing they did that's really cool is now 2 and perhaps even possibly up to 3, maybe even more, phones can see the same thing in the same environment. And they had a Lego demo where basically they had 2 people looking at this digital Lego city through their phone, and they were seeing it like on a table. They're also enhancing Siri quite a bit, and they're adding shortcuts to Siri, kind of like if then, what is it? If this then that.
That is exactly right. Yep.
Yeah, they're adding that kind of functionality where basically like you can say things to Siri and it'll trigger a customizable amount of things. So they gave an example of going home shortcut, and you basically tell Siri that I'm heading home. They give you directions to your best route. They give you an ETA of when you're going to get home. They text your roommate and give them the ETA. It sets your temperature, and it starts playing NPR. So that would all those 5 things would trigger, if you set it up to, with you just saying, "Hey Siri, I'm heading home," or whatever it is. So also Apple's trying to predict things. This is something we saw Google doing a couple weeks ago, where they're trying to predict what people are doing. So if you normally order a coffee in the morning, it'll try to have like a little button that pops up on your notification area where it'll make it easier to do that in the morning. Or if you're running late and your GPS sees that you're not at a meeting you're supposed to be at, it might give you an option to text somebody at the meeting that you're running late. They're allowing you to monitor your screen time. Basically allowing you to manage yourself and so you don't overuse your phones. They're doing new animojis, and in fact they even announced Me Emoji, which is customizable Animoji, so you can make an Animoji of yourself. They also announced that FaceTime is going to have group FaceTime up to 32 people calls, which is kind of nuts if you think about having 32 people on a voice or like a video call.
Enough talking about Google I/O. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I mean iOS. Sorry. I don't know. It just a lot of that sounded like they copied exactly what Google talked about. I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to hate on them. I don't subscribe to the whole iOS versus Android. I think they're both great and they're both great at what they do. I'm disappointed in the iOS and iPhone area with this WWDC.
This is what's great about competition is as one operating system or one competitor gets better, the other one learns from what they're doing, and they kind of, add some of the features to their stuff. There's a lot of other updates. I'm just going to try to run through them real fast. Their next one's about the Apple Watch. They're updating the Watch OS. They're adding a walkie-talkie mode, which is, I think that was the coolest announcement of like all the announcements. I thought it was really neat. Basically, the idea is instead of you sending a text message or whatever, you can send like a voice memo to somebody. They can listen to it and send you a voice memo back. And it only does it with the watch. They don't have it for their phones yet.
So for any of you out there missing your old Nextel phones, there you go.
They're doing a competitive health challenging thing. So basically you can challenge, like me and Mikey, if we both had Apple Watches, we could challenge each other to, I'm going to walk more steps than you this week or do more exercises or something, and it would give you points for doing things. But yeah, that's watchOS. I know they had more announcements than that, but that's the ones that kind of stuck out to me. Last thing is Mac OS. Let's just jump into this.
So this is something I'd like to talk about. This is something that really excites me. So Mojave is the new OS. I think that's how you say it, Mojave.
Yeah, Mojave.
I'm not sure. Either way, one of the things I do love about Apple, and I noticed this from using Macs and Apples in the past, whatever third-party apps you would get, or like if you jailbreak your phone, whatever those features you were doing that stuff to get, they later implement. So I feel like they actually listen to their users in that aspect. This is going to have dark mode. It's going to bring.
Yeah, something people have been asking for a long time.
Yes. So it's it's going to make the whole UI darker, bringing more attention to the content. And then you have desktop stacks. This is something I've waited for forever, and this makes me want a Mac now because I love having desktop stacks on Linux. The problem is Linux is a lot more complicated to use when you talk about easeability and usability with different apps and stuff. So being able to have desktop stacks and actually arrange everything that way makes it great.
Yeah, that one's good for me because like my MacBook Pro desktop is a mess, and it basically just takes all of your files and arranges it into like 5 categories, and that way it makes it nice and clean. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Then also they've got some improved screenshots. They're going to make them easier to do. Also be able to record video of your screen, so that's going to be really neat.
Yeah, that's something, man, their screenshot thing has been really lacking for a long time. I'm happy to see they're enhancing that.
Yes. I mean, it's definitely long needed. No real performance improvements, though. At least they didn't cover any, so I don't know.
Yeah, they did not. Yeah, that was kind of disappointing. Almost every year they try to be like, now it's this much faster, but no, not this year. They also took an opportunity to take stabs at Google and Facebook. The first thing they did was they compared how people were adopting their new phone operating systems to Android. And as everyone on the planet knows, Android does a really bad job of getting people upgraded to the latest version of Android.
Yes.
And it's not really Android's fault. It's just, a lot of times it's the manufacturer. But
it's the fragmentation there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
iOS only has so many different types of devices they got to get it out to. Versus Android, you've got to disseminate to several different types, models, whatever. I mean,
yeah, that's really like the only real criticism they have of Android these days. Like they used to be able to say our operating system is more buttery smooth. That's not true anymore. They used to be able to say like it's doesn't have any features, or they can't say that anymore. So it's kind of funny. This is the only thing that they have been saying for years, and that's the horn they keep tooting is that people can't upgrade it as readily. Also, they took a stab at Facebook when they're talking about improving Safari. So basically now if Safari senses that Facebook is tracking you on different websites that aren't Facebook, it will ask you, hey, Facebook is tracking you. Are you okay with that? And you can deny them if you want to. And I think the last thing they did with the Mac OS is they announced a new Mac Apple Store. But yeah, so conclusions. So what do you think?
So I just like to point out, I feel like they've created that service to watch for any websites doing that, but they definitely took the time to make sure that they stabbed at Facebook for that. Because, I mean, other people are doing it, but Facebook is the biggest problem right now. So, I don't know. I find it kind of funny that they really went after them.
Yeah, it was weird because they're not really competitors, but they took a moment. I guess it allows people to overlook the fact that this whole Bengate thing we were talking about last week, that they knew about it. They're just trying to be like, hey, at least we're not doing what Facebook does. You know, they're tracking you without even telling you. Like, and which I think a lot of people aren't aware of, that Facebook a lot of times will track people throughout the internet. In fact, they gave an example, and I thought it was interesting. Like, if you ever see like and commenting on other websites for Facebook on the, it's like a little web snippet. A lot of times they're using those things to track you because that's an element from their stuff, and they're using that to just watch what you're doing. Okay, so I know you're disappointed about there not being any new products. So vent, Mikey. What's your problem with them not having new products?
I mean, first of all, the products that they did release not too long ago, when they were talking about the new iPad and stuff, they slimmed down a lot of their product line, which is not a bad thing, because we've talked about this before about how they needed to do that. I feel like we kind of needed a response from them versus the rest of the tech world of where they're advancing hardware wise.
Yeah, there was some people were saying that they were going to announce a new MacBook Pro. Some people said they're going to announce the new iPhone SE that they haven't updated in a long time. And no, they didn't announce anything. And I'm going to take the different approach. No announcement blew me away. But this was that conference was literally 2 hours. I listened to every single word. And it was just a fire hose of new features and enhancements. Some of them were pretty cool. Some of them were okay. Some of them I didn't really care about. But I'm far from an Apple fanboy. I'm going to commend Apple for this. Because I know that it's really, product announcements are really exciting. That's what gets people talking. But this is adding value to devices that people already own. That to me is a massive deal. And the fact that they really don't have any financial benefits from I mean, obviously there are some, but from enhancing their products, they really make their money off making new products. And enhancing their old products isn't really a big thing. And I think this is awesome. And if you're complaining about I can't throw more money at Apple, well, they just made everything that they make better for free. And I don't know. I think that's awesome, though.
I do gotta agree, because I was just the same one complaining the other day when we were talking about, I forget which phone it was that came out, and I was complaining about how it's just not even, it's just a tad bit better, and it's just not even anything noteworthy. And I feel like we have gotten to that point, and I feel like that's honestly, in my opinion, a great segue into our next topic.
So Asus. So they are at Computex, I believe it's in Taipei. They're announcing some crazy things, and they're basically stealing the show, from what I understand, because I don't even know anything else that's being announced there. Just what Asus is doing. So first off, they have a brand called Republic of Gamers, also known as ROG, and they are announcing a truly new gamer phone. This is Asus. Asus has made phones in the past, but this is one just with gaming in mind, and it looks incredible. It's 6 inches. It's got an 8:9 display. The display runs at 90 hertz, which is higher than the typical display, so meaning it'll run at a higher frames per second, so it'd be nicer. It even has some virtual air trigger shoulder buttons that they're calling it, and they're basically doing what Razer did. Razer did something last year where they launched a really nice phone that had gaming in mind, but they're taking it to a whole new level. They have this thing they're calling the Twinview Dock. And basically, it turns your phone into essentially a Nintendo DS with an extra screen in this dock. So you put your phone in it, and then it has an extra screen, an extra touch screen with it. And basically, it's kind of like you have two phones next to each other. And right now, there's no games utilizing this, but the potential is there, and they could if they wanted. And their idea was that you could have, if you were doing some, Twitch streaming or something, you have your game on one screen, and then you could have, you're managing Twitch on the other. It also adds battery life. It adds some extra buttons. They also showed off an HDMI dock that is kind of for, a Nintendo Switch-like gaming experience. So basically, you can put your phone in this HDMI dock and play it on the couch. kind of thing. They also showed some awesome controller attachments you can attach to the phone to make it kind of like a really awesome Nintendo Switch looking thing. Even a fan, if your phone is being throttled because of it getting too hot from the games, a fan to actually cool it down.
So when you say like this dock and this the Twinview dock and also the HDMI dock, you mean to tell me that I can take this thing and I can plug it in at my screen at home and I can play games right there, or I can come over to your house and I can plug it in right there and I can play the same games and do everything I normally do?
I'm exactly saying that. Mobile games, mind you.
What does this sound like? This sounds exactly like what we were talking about in one of the early episodes of the podcast, when we were talking about how just being able to, where the device necessarily doesn't matter as much because you can go anywhere. It's not exactly what we were saying.
Oh, the cloud.
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't matter which Twinview dock you're using. It doesn't matter which HDMI dock you're using. You can take this one device with you. It's one thing, and you can take that and go use that in multiple places. This is, I mean, not only are they inventing something awesome for mobile gaming here, they're really taking an awesome approach to really the capabilities of USB-C that nobody other than people making expensive docks for them that aren't really practical, nobody's really actually leaped forward on this. And I think it's awesome that Asus is really kind of lunging out there with this.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I agree with you. Yeah, we were talking about the cloud before being this potential thing, but I think this is definitely a step in that direction where there's one powerful device and you can use in all kinds of different scenarios. I think a lot of companies have been trying to do this for a while and none have succeeded. So maybe Asus might be able to do that with this with this gamer spin. If you think about it, because like Nintendo Switch, like a lot of people thought it was going to be a flop and it ended up being this huge thing because it was a mobile gaming device. This is probably more powerful than Nintendo Switch. Yeah. The only thing is they don't make games, and that's what makes Nintendo Switch great. So I guess we'll see if it takes off, but it sounds like a really awesome piece of hardware.
Yeah, and it looks great too. It has a really good look.
It looks really, really gamer-centric. It has a very striking look. But what was even crazier is I thought, okay, that's an amazing announcement. Asus didn't stop there. They unleashed new laptops as well. Now it's like, okay, whatever, laptops. These are not normal laptops. The first one was a ZenBook Pro lineup, which is a laptop that comes with a 5.5-inch Full HD touchpad. So it's essentially like a phone. So your actual touchpad for like a mouse is actually another screen with your computer. So your touchpad is a touch screen, and then you have the regular screen on the laptop, which is a little bit of a weird design. I'm not sure how that's going to work out with Windows, because it's like that's a little bit of a small screen for Windows, but it sounded like an interesting idea. The other one was the Precog. Have you seen this thing, Mikey?
No, I have not.
This is a dual screen laptop. So they were like, you know what, forget the keyboard. Let's make a laptop of the future. And it's essentially this AI powered thing where it kind of tries to predict what you're going to do with it, and then it adjusts accordingly. There's tons of different modes and stuff. But the idea is that the bottom, it's like a folding laptop, but both sides are screens. And they had like a book mode where basically you have it like a book where it's opened up and there's two screens, and then you plop it down. So that way you can use a keyboard and mouse, and you have one screen on this side, one screen on that side. They're just both really tall. They also had it like where it's a traditional laptop mode, and basically the bottom touchscreen is now keys for the laptop. And I mean, it looked really, really cool, and it runs Windows and that kind of stuff. And it's just a wild looking, very futuristic looking laptop.
That sounds like it'd be really awesome if it works well. But I mean,
I don't know.
With new stuff like this, it hardly ever works like it's supposed to. I mean, it'd be awesome to see them work it out, but I'm just imagining that it would switch randomly on you. You're like mid-typing, and next thing you know, it's touchscreen or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't really know why they kept pushing this AI side. I might be misunderstanding that piece, but it sounded like the AI was just trying to predict how you're going to use it to me, but that was just in the few articles I read. I don't know what to think about these announcements from Asus.
I think it's a great timing. There's not much other people else. The one person that was announcing stuff was Apple, and they didn't even announce hardware. I think it's a good time. A lot of people wait till closer to Christmas time to announce stuff like this. I think I think it's good to get people's hype up and get people buying it. So that way, come Christmas time, people can see that other people have it and actually enjoy these products. You know, I feel like the phone, first of all, I feel like that's going to take off regardless.
Well, here's the thing. Is this a gimmick or is this like a real thing? Do you think that they are really paving the future?
For me personally, you know, I've always built my own computers if I'm going to go PC, right? Otherwise, I'd buy a Mac or something. But I've never really bought into the whole, like, oh, let's go to one of these companies that makes a gaming computer for you and pay for it. I just don't want to spend that much money, you know, for that. But I feel like they're actually making amazing progress. They're not just reaching out to the people that don't want to make their own computers and stuff like that. I feel like they're actually trying to reach out and, you know, appeal to all gamers of all types. And I don't know. I think it's definitely going to go somewhere. I feel like they've really taken their time and put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess for me, I think the laptops are gimmicky.
No,
they look
I can
awesome.
definitely agree with that.
Well, the laptop, the one that has got the 5.5-inch screen touchpad, I don't see the value there. That one I think is going to be a flop if it ever does launch. The precog, it looks incredible, but that's just not how Windows works. Like, they're not designing the operating. That's the one thing that Apple has power over is they can change the operating system to fit the device. And in this case, like for instance, when they made their watch, they made a new operating system for their watch. They're not making the operating system. So how are they going to make Windows work with this well? And the truth is, I don't think they're going to be able to in a way that's going to be meaningful to people. And I think it's going to be really expensive. That's that. But I will agree with you. I think the gaming phone is the one that has the most potential. I don't know if Asus is the right company to battle the Switch. But I don't think anyone's saying this, but this is definitely an attack on the Switch, is it not? I mean,
I think it's an attack on gaming everywhere. I feel like it's an attack on the Switch, on console gaming, because, you know, this highlights a lot of areas where the other consoles haven't touched yet. I think Sony's definitely working on one.
Even PC gaming, because they're pushing streaming on it.
Yeah.
So there is one device you can stream from. So I don't know. I think they might be trying to do too much with it. That's my concern. And I don't know if people really want to game on their phones. I'm not sure that's really what they want. I certainly don't. Do you play a lot of games on your phone?
I do, to pass the time, but I wouldn't. Yeah. I wouldn't pass up playing on my PlayStation to play on my phone. You know what I mean?
Right. I think the only reason the Switch works is because they have quality games. Like, I probably would, if I had a Switch, I probably would pick that up instead of getting on my PCs from time to time.
See, the real key here is what kind of games, you know, are they going to branch out and be able to work with more like computer games and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think the answer there is there isn't any. Like, I think Fortnite's the only one they really showed, but they weren't like they were just showing that it worked on there. Yeah, it wasn't like.
I tell you, for Fortnite and PUBG gamers, for mobile, the people that like to play the mobile version of those, it's definitely gonna appeal to them a lot, because having those buttons installed on there that you can easily map, I feel like that's a huge feature for people that love to play those games.
Yeah. I think these are great ideas that another company that's better suited to do this is going to swoop in and take. That's what I think, because they don't make games, and I think that's too important.
We'll see. I know Sony's been working on something.
Have they, though? Because the PSP Vita was really a flop.
No, they've been working on something completely new. For the new PlayStation, supposedly rumors are saying it's going to be a lot more like a Switch kind of console deal.
That will be interesting. But they got it. The problem is, a lot of people think that it's just like it was a mistake for them to go into mobile gaming. The problem is they didn't really sell out to it.
Yeah.
And Nintendo sells out to it. And that's so I don't know. We'll see. I think these are incredible ideas. I think they're definitely going to spark ideas in other companies. I don't see any that are going to really break the industry, but I think they're really cool. I want to get my hands on it, but I don't want to actually buy one of any of this stuff. All right, so guys, let us know what you think about those announcements. You can message us on Anchor or email us at podcast@thesearchforawesome.co. Let us know, are they dumb or are they innovative? And also let us know what you thought about all the WWDC announcements from Apple. Are you excited about any of them, or do you think that they're kind of, that you're disappointed there wasn't new hardware or something? So let us know. All right, last up, Mikey, let's talk about what's awesome this week. Do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
You go first.
All right, so you were going to tell me about an app that's financial-based. This is my favorite financial-based app. It's called Goodbudget. It's basically like a budgeting app One thing I found, like I follow guys like Dave Ramsey and stuff like that, and one thing I found, if you want to, do well with money, you have to like set a budget, because if you just let it go on autopilot and you just spend as you want, you're never going to have enough money. And it's so important. And I was looking for different apps. I looked at Mint. I also looked at EveryDollar, which is actually made by the Dave Ramsey team. They both are really nice looking, but they weren't what I exactly wanted, because they want like my income, and then they want me to set a budget from that, and it kind of makes it a lot more complicated than I want it to be. I really just wanted an app that may allow me to set a budget for all these different categories, and then I can just slowly put them in throughout the month. And then that way I know if I'm going over or if I'm under budget for certain things, or if I can look at it really quickly to see if I can afford something. That's where Goodbudget comes in, because it's not really nice looking. It's not the perfect app in the world, but it allows you to set envelopes. So I have like a budget for gas, like a couple $100 a month. I have my fun budget, which is, a certain amount of money. My wife has her fun budget. We have eating out money. We have all these different budgets that we've set at the beginning of the month. If I can stay within my budget, I should have enough money to save and to invest in retirement, do all these other boring things that adults have to do. But anyway, it's pretty great for that. It's a lot more simple than the other ones. And like, I had this problem with Mint, because I tried Mint for a while, because they'll like use your bank account. Do you use Mint, Mikey?
I did for a little while.
I didn't like it. I thought
it works great if you fit within a certain mold. The problem is like the way we handle our finances, we don't fit into that mold. I think that's somewhere that Goodbudget definitely does fit in that, because it's very customizable.
I like the fact that I can control Goodbudget.
Yeah.
It's free, and you can use up to 2 phones. My wife and I have access to it for free. They also, I think, support up to 10 envelopes that you can set every month. And they also have some paid features if you want it, but I think it's really great by itself. Anyway, that's Goodbudget. Go check it out if you're interested in budgeting. So, Mikey, what is awesome with you this week?
So what's awesome with me is probably one of the most easy to use apps that I've used in a long time, and that's Robinhood. And let me be clear when I talk about how awesome this app is. This is not a sponsored review or whatever have you want to call this. They literally make it extremely easy and streamlined. I didn't know anything about stocks. I had no idea what I was doing. I've been using this website called nerdwallet.com and getting a lot of information, but there's just so much information out there. Well, one of the things I recommended on there is trying Robinhood if you're new and you just want to kind of get your feet wet in stocks. And I've been having a great time with it. It's easy to use. It's easy to search for stuff, to see what's going on with the stock. Also, if you share this with a friend and they sign up, you each get a free stock in something. And that could be something just a simple little stock. Like I got Chesapeake Energy.
Yeah, so you told me about Robinhood, and then you sent me a link. I signed up, and we both got something for free. Again, not a sponsor, as Mikey said, but I got Zynga, which is like some old. I didn't even know they were still in business, but each stock was worth a couple bucks. I mean, that was just free money.
Yeah, and then they'll even give you some bigger names. Sometimes you have a chance of getting like some big companies. I think I saw some of them on there, like Apple and Ford and stuff. I'm not 100% sure, but that would be pretty awesome. But it's a low chance,
Yeah, they say on the app, if you go in the refer a friend section, it's like 1 in 200 of getting like Apple, which is still not bad odds.
I mean, just the mere chance.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, it's free. You don't really lose anything. They just ask you for some information to set up the account. But the big thing about, I don't know if you realize this, but a lot of apps, they charge you to buy stocks.
Yes.
To do the trades. And Robinhood doesn't. And I still don't know exactly how they make money, but they've been in business for a long time. And somehow they've made it work. And not only do they not charge you for stocks, they'll give you a free one just to get started. Yeah. So
I don't know. That was one of the things that really appealed to me.
Why did you get Robinhood, by the way?
So I got Robinhood so I can invest in Moviepass. And that's exactly what I did. And I think you should too.
Why exactly? You remember us talking about this last week, that how we kind of agreed that they weren't making good decisions?
Okay, so that's what I thought until I started talking with my parents. So my dad wanted to understand what was going on with Moviepass and how it works, because he had never really heard much about it. He'd seen advertisements and stuff, but they don't really follow the internet like that when it comes to tech stuff. So, or anything that's not strictly news. So he wanted to know more information about it and understand exactly what was going on. So I broke it down for him. As I'm explaining it to him, he's asking me questions. And one of his biggest questions was, how are they making money? I was like, well, technically they're not. They're losing a lot of money right now.
Question on everyone's mind.
I told him they're losing a lot of money right now. And he wants to know, well, what's the long-term goal? Their goal can't be to lose money. So what are they going to do? And that's when I started it kind of really engaged me to think about it more. If it weren't for Moviepass, what kind of path do you think movie theaters are going down? We're getting so much better technology in our own home to watch movies, and it's so much easier to get them now. I don't even have to leave my house. I can just rent it and watch it at home, and then you add in the fact that other than release nights, how many people are going to a movie regularly other than Moviepass or these other subscription holders? How many people are actually going to a movie more than once a month? Some people aren't even going at all. And I feel like they're kind of dying off. Moviepass has a chance that if they can work with these theaters and get people in there more often, not only are they coming to the movies more often, but they're also buying snacks more often because you didn't really pay anything for the movie, so you're paying for the snack, right? You're more likely to buy snacks. And then if they can work with them to where they'll allow people to come to the movies without paying, so that's where it's really going to pay off, is not only are they looking to get a cut of that money from the movie theater, but they're also looking for movie theaters to basically, I guess, stop charging to see the movies. You'll just use your Moviepass.
That's interesting. So what you're saying is Moviepass is basically seeing a movie apocalypse coming unless they change their ways. But none of the theaters are going to change their ways. So they're trying to insert themselves as the middleman to make them change their ways.
Well, yes, because, trying to convince them that they're failing when a company doesn't see that they're failing is really hard. Mm-hmm. But if you show them that a majority of your numbers are taking over their numbers, where basically most of their sold tickets are coming from Moviepass users, then they have an in. Because you can't argue with that.
Yeah.
If you only sold 3,000 tickets for the month of May, and, 2,300 of those are Moviepass, then what would you have done? That's a huge margin there to just deny.
Mm-hmm. So maybe if they get so large and they last for so long that people get used to it, that once it's gone, a movie apocalypse is coming, that would be even worse than if they didn't exist. Then theaters have no choice but to make amends with Moviepass and make sure that they exist.
Well, I'd wager to say that they're also trying to speed up this apocalypse a little bit. Because if they increase these numbers, and then the companies are going to look at it like, if we lose Moviepass now we're definitely going to go under.
So it's like a big game of chicken, but the problem is either way the theaters are going to hit a brick wall.
Yes, it's just if they take the hand of Moviepass and work together, that's the only way. I've seen some of these other companies that have these subscription passes, they just don't offer the idea that makes people want to keep going to movies more often.
Interesting. Yeah. So you think, okay, so how many shares did you buy? What is their shares cost right now?
Right now, let me actually look real quick. I bought 100 of them. They're a little cheaper than when I bought them. I jumped on them a little too quick, I guess. I bought them for I want to say it was like 36 cents. And they're now at 34 cents. Yeah.
It's not so bad.
But I mean, the way I look at it is,
it's like, how much lower can they go? That's the kind of thing I'm thinking.
Well, even if they just fail as a company and you lose all your money, I got 100 shares for $36. And because Robinhood doesn't charge you any of those extra fees and all that, it was 100 shares for $36. So I didn't have to worry about, I don't want to say that, $36 is nothing, but at the end of the day, like, if I went to an arcade with the kids, or if I went to a casino, in the big scheme of things, doing something like that, $36 isn't that much. The bigger picture here is that I'm learning a lot from doing this whole process and actually checking out stocks and messing around with them. So
that's interesting.
And it's exciting.
Yeah,
it's like a game.
Well, Yeah, it is, and it kind of makes you more invested in the companies that you're investing in. Yeah, I'll probably, I remember several years ago, I was strongly thinking about investing in Bitcoin. I don't know if I ever told you this, Mikey, and this is when it was about $500 per coin, and I was seriously thinking about dropping some serious cash. I wanted to buy 10 coins. I don't even know if I had enough money to do that at the time, but I wanted to buy 10 coins and just see what happens. And I'm like, wow, I wish I did that because I could pay off my house right now if I did that.
Yes.
Like, that would be incredible. Because I felt like at the time, no, it was $400 a coin. So I don't want to miss out. This is like super low. And I do think they have the potential to change things. I wish they'd start being so stupid with their money. That's the part I don't understand is how, like, buying a movie studio, like, that's the parts where I'm like, what are you thinking? Like, why are you spending money on things that you don't need to be spending money on?
That's why I think they have that mindset. They see something that's about to fail that shouldn't, and that people don't want to fail. It's just not as convenient. And everybody loves a good subscription service.
Sure.
That's the thing. Subscription services are the way to go now.
Yeah, dude. So we are going to drop a link in the description of this podcast on YouTube and all the different places we're distributing it. If you are interested in trying out Robinhood and getting a free stock, you can use our referral link and we will get a free stock. I'm going to list both of our links and I'll list whose is whose. And you can just pick whoever your referral link you like best. If you like Mikey better, then pick his. If you like me better, which of course you do, you pick mine. So.
Yeah.
Right?
And because I'm such a good guy, I think that you should use Titus's.
Yeah, I agree. All right.
Yeah. They're totally going to use mine now because I was nice.
Why do you got to be like that? Let us know what you think about Robinhood. And if you've used it, let us know your thoughts. You can message us on Anchor or email us at podcast@thesearcherawesome.co. With all that said, thank you guys so much for listening in this week. And I guess we'll see you guys in the next one.
See you later.
One last thing before we sign off, I just wanted to give you a heads up that I think we're going to be taking next week off. Mikey is on an Army Reserve mission, and I have a video that I'm pretty knee-deep in on the OnePlus 6 review, my new phone, the one that had that broken screen that I showed you guys earlier. Anyway, so if you don't see an episode from us next week, just know that there will be one the week following. It's not 100%. There might still be one, but I think right now it's probably looking like we're going to skip a week. Anyway, hope you guys have an awesome week. And I know E3 is next week, so enjoy that if you are into that kind of thing. And yeah, everyone have a good one. We'll see you next time.